Hello everybody, welcome back to the James Lawrence Allcott channel and my series on which players are going to take over in 2022 with the guys at Scouted Football. If you want to win one of these gorgeous things, stick around to the end of the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel just yet, then do it, because you're going to enjoy another great video where we're going to highlight a player who's going to dominate in 2022. Make sure you check out the other episodes as well. Let's get into it with Anel Ahmedhodzic. Anel Ahmedhodzic is a Bosnian defender who's had a long and convoluted route to international and Champions League football. It all began for him when he was 16 and he was signed by Nottingham Forest for £500,000. Now, the problem with being at Nottingham Forest over the last few years is that despite being in the senior setup from the get-go, repeated managerial changes left him confined to the under-23s and just one appearance for the senior side. His big move failed to materialise and Ahmedhodzic had to go home, back to Sweden, back to his boyhood club, rejoining Malmo. After a brief low-profile loan in Denmark, he slotted into the Malmo side and did brilliantly. He got himself his first Sweden cap, but ultimately decided to represent Bosnia and Herzegovina. This season, he's featured whenever possible in the Malmo starting lineup and is closing in on 100 appearances for his boyhood club, despite only ascending to the team in 2020. Ahmedhodzic is a tall, imposing, typically right-sided centre-back, but he can play. Now, Lou Davis from Scouted Football writes, "Centre-backs are now held to irrational standards." In the Scouted Football Handbook Volume 9, he says they must possess elite athleticism, dominate every duel, pass like Thiago Alcantara, and never make a mistake. None can meet these hysterical expectations, but some do come close. Anel Ahmedhodzic in the Allcott scan is one of those. For a player of Ahmedhodzic's stature, he's impressively mobile. This is probably down to the fact that he's quite wiry. He's also got good feet for someone who's nearly 2 meters tall. Great touch for a big lad, you might say. And those obvious physical advantages he uses in both the ground and aerial duels that he faces. Also, for someone so large and young, you would expect maybe a bit of clumsiness. He'd be found guilty of a clumsy touch or a rash challenge, skidding into an opponent because they've lost momentum because they're so big. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Ahmedhodzic is incredibly tidy as a player, timing his challenges and his sliding challenges and keeping possession well. Now, of course, there have to be some caveats here. He is playing in Sweden's top flight. It's not a populous country like other nations around the world, but the rise of Ahmedhodzic has been really impressive and quick as well. And if you consider him returning with his tail between his legs, he's wasted no time in establishing himself in one of Sweden's most impressive clubs at the age of just 22, and he's got international camps at 2 different countries. Arguably, Ahmedhodzic's greatest gift has to be his passing. It's not his defensive fundamentals at all. He's fluent and fluid with the ball, happy with the ball at his feet as well, and not clunky or panicky like some centre-backs can be. And he fires those passes into the midfielders, breaking lines and spotting opportunities to progress play quickly. Lou Davies from Scouted Football goes on to say, he adds high-level progression with his passing too, a skill predicated on a great, clean and crisp technique. Lou also highlighted that he had that awareness to quickly spot and punch passes through the lines with ease. He's also got that neat little feature of being able to come out with the ball and release pressure from that first press by bringing the ball out, bringing opponents towards him, and then playing those sly little passes to the left or the right and breaking that first line of pressure in the process. When it comes to transfer links for Ahmedhodzic, it's interesting because, of course, he's going to be pretty cheap, being a player who's playing in the Allcott scan at the moment. Some outlets are suggesting that it could be a return to the Premier League. There's been links with potential suitors being Chelsea or Manchester United. However, it recently emerged that Atalanta could well be the front runners to sign up the centre-back. So with these clubs being linked to Ahmedhodzic at the moment, there's 2 questions really. 1, would it work? 2, is it realistic? So where would be a good fit? Ahmedhodzic's excellent technical ability and desire to get on the ball and progress the ball, partnered with his excellent one-on-one defensive acumen, means that a team like Atalanta would be a great fit for him from an on-the-ball perspective. With Malmo, he's often played in a pairing, but he's also played in a trio, and the guys at Scouted Football believe that if he were to play in a trio more consistently, he would go from being a great player to an elite player. With Chelsea and Man United, you can see him going there, then going loaned out and never really seeing a moment in the first team. But with Atalanta, it does feel good because it does seem realistic. This is something Atalanta have shown in the last few years when it comes to their recruitment. They're willing to look at different leagues in Europe, be it Eredivisie or the Belgian Pro League. Therefore, you could see someone like Atalanta giving him a chance and acquiring his signature. An alternative club that might reveal itself in the coming weeks and months for Ahmedhodzic's signature could be Ajax. Now, he's a player of Bosnian descent, going from Malmo to Ajax. It's quite satisfyingly reminiscent of Zlatan's pathway to the top of world football. I think this could be a good move for both the club and the player. If you think about, he's consistently playing for Malmo, a dominant team in that division, and the expectations that he has to deal with, he's used to that already. So moving from Malmo to Ajax, another team incredibly dominant, and going there a higher level of quality, but also playing Champions League football as well, playing an exciting brand of football as well, I think it would be suited to both the player and the club. However, Per Scher's status as the current right-sided centre-back for Ajax could complicate this move. So why is Anel Ahmedhodzic a star for 2022? Well, I guess Premier League clubs, they don't tend to really buy players straight from the Scandinavian leagues anymore. They deem it too high a step up. That said, I think that's an entirely unfair reflection on a really exciting centre-back. Nottingham Forest clearly saw something in a 16-year-old, so much so that they were willing to pay £500,000 in 2016, and we're beginning to see that manifest itself at senior level at Malmo. It's for that reason that he's unlikely to be sticking around in Sweden for too much longer. His contract is up in December 2023, which could further expedite a move, and while Premier League clubs, as I've said, don't normally they don't like to pillage Scandinavia, shall we say, as much as they used to. Other leagues do. Serie A sides have taken the likes of Mikael Damsgaard and Mathias Svanberg in recent years, whilst Bundesliga clubs routinely poach from the Scandinavian league and their youngsters, such as Eintracht Frankfurt's Jesper Lindstrom. So although Ahmedhodzic's introduction to the Champions League this season might have been brief, expect to see him again in the competition in the coming years. I hope you've enjoyed this video and the series so far. Make sure you go and check out the other players that we've spoken about who we think are going to take over in 2022. If you want to win a copy of Scouted Football, we're going to give away 2 from this video. All you've got to do is subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, hit the like button as well, and get in the comments, and I'm going to pick a player at random this time. Why not? Let's go Championship. Callum O'Hare. Write in the comments, Callum O'Hare. I will pick 2 of you guys at random, and we will send you a copy of Scouted Football. If you want to see more, hear more, read more about Scouted Football, of course, click on the link in the description right now. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.